Hello, you join us today for an installation of the BMW Advanced Car Eye 3 Pro. Bit wordy, but let's talk you through it. So this is a product we're going to install on our G82 M4. This is our development car here. And we thought it'd be a good example to get it on the car, show you some in-car footage of what it looks like, what the installation involves. It's around 2.5 hours for this install. We're actually opting for the front and rear kit. So the front camera, which is this big chunky guy here, it is touchscreen. I know some people will really like that feature. Some might not, but it's certainly a nice option. The non-Pro version doesn't have the screen, but it's not quite as good resolution. So we opted for this one, which has got the better quality and resolution. So this is 2K on the front and 1080p on the rear, which is the smaller guy. So this, I believe, as far as I'm told, is a thinkware product that BMW have effectively taken on board and remanufactured, or thinkware effectively remanufactured for them. So it integrates really well to the BMW electronics. So you've got all the correct wiring and everything here. So it works really well. It's very intuitive. There's some cool bits of this camera. Obviously, it's continuous recording, which is GPS logged as well when you're driving. It's also got a parking mode, so if you park up and you're in the supermarket and some clumsy person comes along with the trolley, it might capture that. Hopefully you don't get into that situation. So it's a really good system. We're interested to see what it's like installed, and we'll show you some footage later on, both daytime and nighttime, to give you an idea. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video, and we'll show you some results later on. So we're actually sat in the car now with the camera installed, both front and rear. So Tim's going to zoom in on the screen. I'm just going to show you a few little features on this particular bit. So if you tap the screen, at the moment we've just got the ignition on, so the engine is not fired up. You can see the back of our workshop there, and there's the front. Obviously it's a little bit drizzly today, so it's not the best quality, but it gives you an idea of what you can see both front and back. If you press the home button, it will tell you whether you want to cancel the recording, and then you can start going through some of the settings. You can obviously see some of your recording. Obviously we've given this a little bit of a go driving whiles now, so there's a handful of different files stored there which you can view. And you've got the various about settings, which shows some of the functionality of the actual kit itself, including some of the camera settings. That's more for information based. And then you've got a few other bits and pieces, such as you can see what firmware you're on, which we can see on our phone, which we'll show you shortly, as well as some of the other settings, which include audio recording, whether you change to night vision, HDR, that sort of thing, as well as which channels, brightness, and so on. So there's quite a lot of options on this. It's easy to get carried away and maybe lose yourself a little bit. This is one important factor, is your G-sensor sensitivity. Sometimes it can be recording too many incidences where it might be just a little bit of a wind or a breeze, but you've got options for that, and you can see there's quite a few different options here depending on what you want to play around with. For the most part, it's pretty good. You shouldn't need to adjust this a great deal, but depending on your type of driving, what your preferences are, at least you've got some options. So it's a nice, simple display to use, very clear, and yeah, nice bit of kit. So obviously going through the recording files, you can see us just moving the car around, or myself coming into work this morning. That's just me deciding to park up on a very lovely grey, miserable British summer's morning, or close to it. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. I'll get the mobile phone out and show you what we can do on there. Right, so we've got the mobile phone out here. This is just an iPhone 11 Pro Max. There's a lot of other mobiles that will do exactly the same job. So this is connected through both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And it gives us pretty much the same sort of options you have on the screen. If you look at the screen, if you hold that Bluetooth button just there, that then gives you the option to connect up to it. So we're connected now just to streamline this process. So you can see live view, and it's not the quickest, it's not going to be instantaneous. I don't expect that you can necessarily get a picture straight away, but a couple seconds it's there and ready to go. And you can flip between the front and the rear camera, as well as obviously photo and video there. I'm not going to show you all of this because it's mostly self-explanatory, but I'll just show you other few features here. So you can see obviously car location, you can then look at your recordings. As I said, it's not the most instantaneous way of connecting up and seeing everything, but it doesn't take too long as you've got a bit of patience. But we can see all our video recordings here over the past few days. You can favorite those, and you can also download as well, and also annotate, delete, and so on. In terms of settings, you have much of what you can see on the display as well. It's a little bit more easy to use on a phone rather than the screen itself. As mentioned, the video footage that we've taken has not been on HDR, and it hasn't had audio recording. Obviously, the downside of using the HDR is it will absolutely chew through your memory, but it will give you some slightly crisper footage. But again, you've got the functionality here on your phone, so whether you want to change certain parameters, that can all be done here through the app. So quite a nice way of working it if you don't particularly want to use the screen, or for those who don't have that screen option. So it works well, and other than just being a little bit laggy, it generally speaking works pretty well, and you can see pretty much all your details and everything you need to know from the app. We'll take some footage off this now, and we'll do a little bit of a voiceover just to let you know what you're looking at. Right, so we've got some onboard footage here just of the front and rear camera. So at the moment we're looking nice dry day, bright sunshine. This is the front camera. You can see it's really good clarity, easy to view, and this is obviously of the rear camera, which even though it's a slightly different resolution, is still really crisp and clear. So this is your best case scenario condition wise. And now going into the nighttime footage, obviously you've got glare from other headlights, you've got glare from the overhead lights as well. The windscreen's a little bit greasy there, so mind that, but as a whole, again, footage is really crisp and clear. You're not going to pick up on the number plates quite as well at night time compared to the day, but gives you an idea. You still see some really good footage. So we've got some rainy footage now. So this is driving along a dual carriageway, coming up to a roundabout, and even though it's a very dark, rainy, grey morning, again we can still see the number plates of both the van in front and the van behind there, and that's really key. So some really nice crisp footage there. It's nice and smooth as well.